Hi, I'm Karl Taylor and this episode is sponsored by Squarespace. Here's my commercial photography website. It's a Squarespace one and I absolutely love it. They're easy to set up, they look amazing, there are hundreds of templates to choose from and they have first-class customer support. If you want one too, then use this URL and the coupon code KARL to get a 10% discount. Achieving good product photography can be quite technically challenging. There are a lot of things to consider, careful consideration with the lighting. But this particular shot that I've demoed many times is actually very simple to achieve because it's actually only a two-light setup. One light shining through a piece of frosted perspex, frosted acrylic, just to diffuse that glow of light. And that diffused glow then sort of refracts through the bottle, giving that sort of brighter strip down the center of the bottle. And then the outer edges of the bottle where they gradate away to dark grey, that's just the bottle refracting the light that's going on in the background. It's the bottle acting as a lens effectively and seeing what's happening at the edge of the diffusion on the background. So where the glow of light is coming through on the perspex in the back, it's graduating out to dark grey, and that part of the dark grey is refracting through into the bottle acting as a lens. So that's where you get that lovely graduated grey light down the edge of the bottle. And then we've applied our special ice frosting technique to the bottle, and then another light on my left hand side to add a little bit of light on the cap of the bottle to highlight that, and then you'll see a very faint fill light on the right hand side, and that was achieved with just a simple silver reflector adding a little bit of fill. And many of these shots that I'm talking about, you can actually see the techniques for them on our blog. A lot of the videos you can actually watch how we accomplish these shots. Now, believe it or not, this shot was taken with just one light. This is a very expensive Blancpain Swiss watch. I think this watch costs about $15,000. And the complexity of this shot is more to do with the size of the product, the size of the object, and making sure that everything is pin sharp and that every little bit of detail is captured in such, a fine timepiece. And to do that requires some specialist techniques. The lighting was just a one light setup, and the rest of it, well, I'm not going to tell you the rest of it. This shot actually forms part of some of our pro level training, our paid training. We give a lot of stuff away for free, but we don't give everything away for free because part of our job as well as commercial photographers is in training other photographers, and some of our very best level training is paid training, and this particular image is part of that. This image is one that you can see a complete tutorial for on our website or on our blog. The trick in this image is the lighting and getting that glow of light through the liquid, keeping that vibrant orange through the ice, through the bottle, that vibrant, beautiful, refracted glow of light. And then that beautiful soft gradient of light down the right-hand side of the bottle, going all the way up the edge of the bottle, showing the form of the bottle, the shape of the bottle, the shape of the neck of the bottle. And then combining that with the subtle reflection in the black acrylic, and then just this hint of glow coming over the horizon to offset the bottle from the background. There's no point me telling you how I did the shot because you can watch the whole video of how that shot was achieved. This was an extremely complex picture. The complexities were how are we going to make all of those tins of paint explode at the same time? How are we going to get all of that paint flying out exactly the same? I wasn't even sure if this was going to actually work when we designed the contraption to achieve this shot, there was so many obstacles to overcome. We tested it first with water in the tins to begin with, to check that the splashes, the timing of the splashes, the timing of the explosion could all work, could be captured. And then when we realized we could do it with water, we then did it with a couple of tins of paint just to see if it would work, and then gradually built up to the large array of tins of paint all combined. Crucial part of this shot was having all of these paint pots explode almost like flowers opening, and that vibrant color. And we were so excited and so pleased when we actually captured it, because it was a real team effort to make this shot work. When we actually nailed this shot and saw the result come up on screen, it was just, yeah, a moment of joy. I'd never shot an animal portrait before, and I was very inspired by a photographer called Tim Flack. I've met him a couple of times, and he does some incredible work on animal portraits. So I wanted to see what it was like to shoot that style of work, and I'd always loved birds of prey. They're just magnificent creatures, and we had this opportunity with this Harris hawk, and we were able to get the Harris hawk into the studio and photograph the Harris hawk, and it's got such a strong expression and such an almost aggressive and hunter look to it that it was an incredible animal to photograph and study. And the level of detail that you can achieve out of the high resolution cameras that we use in the studio, in this particular case it was the H5 Hasselblad 50 megapixel camera, and that incredible amount of detail that can be resolved from a camera like this just suits this sort of subject matter absolutely perfectly. This was quite a complex lighting setup. Again, we've done a video on this shoot that you can watch as well, where you can see the whole shoot. Product photography is one of my main areas of business, and product photography is about taking objects that look very ordinary, quite boring in many ways, just in front of you, holding them in your hand, you know, to the human eye. And the job is to turn them into something special, because obviously the object of product and advertising photography is to try and sell you something, and to do that they need to create an element of desire, or the photographer's got to create an element of desire. So the objects have to be lit very carefully, and the lighting has to be controlled very perfectly and accurately, and the scene that it's set in to offset the subject all has to work very well together. And that's quite a technically challenging thing in photography, but it's one that I really relish, one that I really enjoy. And product and still life photography, I think, is one of the most technically challenging areas of photography. And people often find it strange that I do shoot so many different genres of photography, because we shoot fashion, we shoot product and still life. I experiment with different types of complex splashes and paint and all sorts of things. But that's just because I love photography so much. I love all different aspects of photography. I like to experiment in different areas. There are so many photographers that get pigeonholed into one particular type of photography, or they specialize in one type of thing. And I just like photography so much that I like to actually experiment with lots of different areas and genres of photography. And I think that's one of the beauties of working in the training market as well now, is that that's allowed us to do that. It's allowed us to experiment in different areas and show and demonstrate different techniques for different genres. A landscape image that we shot in Iceland when we were there shooting the fashion images for Fashionscape. And this image just required a long exposure to capture the sweeping waves running up the shore, and we had to be a little bit daring. We nearly lost a camera on this shoot, actually. I'm not going to give away all the techniques on how we did this shot. There is some filtration used on the lens. There are some techniques in the timing of the shot and executing the shot, exposure, etc. But all of that is revealed in our Fashionscape course. This is a very old shot, actually, from more than 20 years ago of the Taj Mahal in India. This was shot on Kodachrome 25, maybe Kodachrome 64, and I think I shot this on my Canon F1 at the time. Back then I was shooting with a Canon F1 and a Canon T90, two amazing cameras for the time. And again, the shot was achieved by pre-visualization and planning. I did a lot of scouting around the area to find a location that would work, that set me back from the Taj Mahal a little bit so it wasn't close up on it, but also would be a good position when the sun came up. So I scouted around, did some calculations on where the sun was coming up, and then realized that this would be a great spot to capture the reflection and the rising sun. Now, the beauty of this shot was the fact that I got really, really lucky with these four guys walking along the riverbank early in the morning. And these are these things that just happen from time to time, just that little extra element of luck that helps make the picture. Because I was just planning on a simple stock shot landscape image with the sunrise and the beautiful Taj Mahal reflecting in the water, but then that beautiful chance of these guys walking along the riverbank came by, and I saw them approaching from my right hand side and the sun coming up, and I thought, oh my God, this is going to be incredible if we can just capture these guys as they walk in front of the sunrise. So it was just, again, I had that one chance to push the shutter at just the right time, and thankfully they were captured absolutely perfectly as they stepped in front of the rising sun. This is again a very old image from back when I was working sort of freelance as a photojournalist, and this was the Mentawi people on the island of Siberut, which is off the west coast of Sumatra in Indonesia, and I spent several weeks with these guys photographing their life and how they hunt and how they live. And this is just one of those beautiful moments where one of the tribe members, the father, was just holding his child in his arms and just captured with natural light, just a beautiful moment, shallow depth of field on a short telephoto lens. I think it was on an 85mm lens on the Canon T90, and most likely shot on Kodachrome 64. Again, another one of my favourites, an old shot from the Mentawi people that I just mentioned, and very simple. A window, an open window, doesn't have any glass in it. These guys live in simple huts on stilts in the rainforest, and just a small opening in the side of the hut was letting the natural daylight through. And this lady was working on, I think she was working on sago palm or making some sort of bread or something inside the hut. And there's just this faint element of light behind her, which is light coming through another door or another window in the background. And just that beautiful light through the window, and then the side of her head and body going into darkness, offset against the light in the background. Natural light, very, very simple and very easy shot to achieve. It's just capturing that moment in time, shot with an 85mm lens, very shallow depth of field on the 35mm format, and I think it was on Kodachrome 64. So hopefully that gave you an insight into some of my favourite images and how some of them were achieved, and check out some of the videos of some of the shoots that you've just seen, because a lot of the techniques we've got videos of those images and reveal exactly how they were captured. Thank you.